JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, what is one thing that is even better than the Joestars themselves? The goddamn JoBros. If you have never seen JoJo's before, or are a fan and somehow don't know the term, JoBros is a nickname given to the main Joestar group of each part. Pretty much the main character's friends, their gang, their ride or dies. Of course, as a JoJo fan, I love all the Joestars in each part. They are always who you're rooting for, and you follow them for the majority of the story. But you'd be lying if you don't think sometimes the Joestars lack a little bit of personality compared to the other characters. Not Joseph though. This motherfucker is the definition of personality. Nice! A lot of the time for me, the JoBros are what breathe life into these stories and are such a big part of what makes the world of JoJo's so special. I honestly don't know if JoJo's would be the same beloved story today if these characters weren't written so well to support our main protagonists along their journeys. For example, imagine Golden Wind without the rest of the gang, Stardust Crusaders if it was only Jotaro, the dude that hates talking, or if Phantom Blood didn't have Speedwagon or Zeppeli. You know how much Speedwagon has carried the entire family, and part 2 wouldn't even exist without the Zeppelis. Some people like to tie down each part to only having one JoBro, kind of trying to choose who the closest character is to the main Joestar, and I think that shit's stupid. The cumulative efforts and decisions of each of the characters make up the entire story, and trying to limit that to only one of the characters just doesn't feel right to a guy like me. I love all my JoBros. I simply just wanted to go through each part of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure world and just talk about each of the JoBros, how I feel about each one, and what they contribute to the story. Also, just kind of how cool I think they are. I can already see it now. Where's part 7? Read part 7. And I agree, you should read part 7. I have read Steel Ball Run shortly after my other JoJo video, and the reason I'm not mentioning it in this video is because I still plan on making a video dedicated to part 7 and probably the parts that follow after. Now, with that all out of the way, let's begin talking about JoBros, the true charm of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Starting with part 1. Phantom Blood. Part 1 only has 2 JoBros, and we don't get to see much of them, but honestly, we don't get to see too much of anything since part 1 is only 9 episodes. But seeing them for a short amount of time doesn't erase how significant these characters are to the rest of the entire story. Let's start with Robert E.O. Speedwagon, the man behind the Speedwagon Foundation. From a young thug with a buzzsaw bowler hat to supporting the Joestar family until his very last breath, Speedwagon is one of the most devoted characters to the family and has the utmost respect for Jonathan. After Jonathan's passing, Speedwagon traveled to America and used oil to create the Speedwagon Foundation. Pretty much a damn Pokemart for the Joestars that lasts all the way throughout, even up to part 6, trying to help Jotaro. The man was so devoted to the family that he wrote in his will an entire department made to aiding and funding the Joestar family with everything they need. I mean, Speedwagon's gotta be one of, if not the realest JoBro in the entire series. The other half of the JoBros in Phantom Blood is Will Antonio Zeppeli. Now, if Speedwagon helped the Joestars financially throughout the series, the Zeppeli family physically helped them, even helping in entirely different universes. The man that looks like he's about to pull a rabbit out of his hat, Zeppeli helps Jonathan learn to master Ripple, better known as Hamon, to stand alongside him against Dio. The art of Hamon also carries into part 2 with my boys Clackers, and actually appears in later parts as well, just a bit more subtle. Again, there's so little episodes of this entire part, so it's hard to talk more about the acts that we do see them do, but most of these characters are main backbones to the entire series and cause a generational effect in their aid of the Joestars. Though not my favorite personalities or the most drippy, both of these characters deserve respect for the butterfly effect that they created. Speaking of Zeppelis helping out, why are all of them so goddamn peak? Now, some people might get a little upset at me. I'm not sure how everyone really feels, but this part truly only has one JoBro. The one argument I will accept and can see as another JoBro this part would be Lisa, but she's literally his mom. So like, yes, the family helps each other out through a different series, but I don't necessarily count them as JoBros. Lastly, that leaves us with the true solo JoBro of this part. The living definition of the word, grandson of Will Zeppeli, the GOAT himself, Caesar Zeppeli. Caesar embodies exactly what a JoBro is and is the golden standard of what it means to be a JoBro. He starts as most do, being introduced as an arrogant man looking down on Joseph as he struggles mastering Hamon. You soon learn Caesar is a loving and caring individual that lives proudly fighting for whatever he feels is right. Once finding out that Joseph is an honorable man, their relationship begins to grow into what we see later on. The downfall of Caesar Zappelli is his short-temperedness and brash decisions, which ultimately lead him to his demise. One of the most heartfelt moments in all of JoJo's is seeing him use his last bit of energy to save Joseph's life with his iconic headband. Such a well-written character that has a truly unique personality and will forever hold a special place in mine, and I know many of your guys' hearts. You know what else has a special place in my heart? The OG squad, the Stardust Crusaders. Stardust Crusaders felt like a whole new breath of fresh air, with the introduction of stands and our main character calling his mom a bitch. But something else they do differently is throw together this ragtag group of hooligans and create a dynamic we haven't seen before in recent parts. We get to see our boy Joseph again, this time as the grandpa of the Jotaro Kujo. Again, I don't really count family members as JoBros, but he fits into the team perfectly. We shortly meet Joseph's Egyptian friend Muhammad Abdal, who teaches Jotaro what the fuck a stand is by showing off his level 100 Blaziken. I'll be honest, I like Abdal. Magician's Red is cool, but he doesn't really stand out to me like the other JoBros of this part. He has some great scenes, and I do think he fits in well, being a bit more cool-headed compared to the other two dumbasses, so I think him being a part of the team is overall a good addition over him not being. Next to join the group is the cherry-licking, Emerald Splash spamming Kakyoin. Kakyoin again follows the trend of being a brainwashed asshole at first, but eventually joins the crew. The funniest thing I remember about this character is his one-for-one painting of Jotaro and its ability that he's introduced with, but he never does it again. My man slices through Jotaro's leg with red paint and sends his ass flying off these stairs. Kakyoin's more prevalent ability used throughout the series is Hierophant Green, which is the first long-range stand ability in the series. The only technique the stand has is Emerald Splash, and wow, would you look at that, 20-meter radius Emerald Splash. At the most cool of abilities, he's like a villager from Minecraft with all these damn emeralds, but his personality makes who Kakyoin is. Brave like the others and always tackling any challenge head first, he doesn't hold back at all when fighting against enemies. When it comes to his own allies and group, he cares very much about them all and only makes friends with people that he can respect. But if you're an enemy, god damn does this man not hold back. Like making this creepy ass baby, mannish boy, eat his own shit in a bowl of soup. This scene was absolutely fucking disgusting to watch. Next is probably my favorite from the Stardust Crusaders crew, the long-haired Frenchman himself, Jean-Pierre Polnareff. As hilarious as his character is, his number one personality trait is his honor. Just like Kakyoin, he's introduced as being brainwashed by Dio. But even then, Polnareff's own body wouldn't allow him to do something dishonorable, like attacking from somebody's back, and even explains his abilities to his enemies to make it an even fight. If that isn't honor, I don't know what is. The man is the symbol of being extroverted and letting your emotions out, not caring what anyone else thinks. He gets distracted by women, openly mourns for lost comrades, and prides himself on his amazing Silver Chariot, one of my favorite design stands in Part 3. Silver Chariot's abilities are, well, using a sword, but it's cool, trust me. Those who have watched know that this shit is sick. And don't forget when it changes from Silver Chariot into Chariot Requiem and gains the powers of soul manipulation. Oh, and something a little simple like complete alteration of life. Polnareff is one of the greats and always will be. At last, we have the one and only animal that would be considered a JoBro, Iggy. At first, I hated this dog so damn much, and to be honest, I still kind of do. Iggy is highly intelligent, but goddamn is he a bitch. Brought to the group by the Speedwagon Foundation, Iggy prides himself on doing his own thing and listening to no one. This motherfucker stays farting on my boy Polnareff, which is actually kind of funny, but god did it take a while for me to start somewhat liking this dog. His stand is called the Fool, which is just this mechanical dog looking thing, but the basic powers he gets from it is manipulation of sand. He's pretty much Gaara, but without the penis haircut. The main person Iggy would bicker with was Polnareff, but at the end of the series, he is shown saving Polnareff's life with the last bit of power he has, before ultimately dying. If that isn't goated, I don't know what is. Wait, did someone say goat? That's reminding me of a certain part called Diamonds on... Easily my favorite animated part in the series, Diamond is Unbreakable is like no other part. The bright, beautiful colors in this small town of Morio, groovy ass music, and an environment that just feels alive. And another huge reason why I love this part is that it has two returning Joestars. Sadly, Joseph at this time is miserably senile, but Jotaro is fucking dripping, and we get some of the best JoBros yet. When people ask me my favorite JoBro, I usually give them the same answer. My runner-ups are Misa and Gyro. But for some reason, my favorite JoBro of all time, Koichi Hirose. My short king stands at a whopping 5'2" according to the wiki, but they make my motherfucking boy like 3'8" in the anime, bro. What is this? Koichi is very honest and nice, is trying to get along with everyone he can, not causing any troubles. He comes off as very cowardly, but when it comes down to it, he will do what he must to help out someone in need. How can you not just love this guy? He even pulls girls. Look at my boy go! The most unique aspect of Koichi is his stand Echoes. Firstly appearing as a larva, and by the end of the series is a clone resembling Koichi himself. Echoes evolves throughout the series, mimicking the growth and development of Koichi as he grows throughout the story. This motherfucker literally has a Pokemon for a stand. The ability this thing has is also just so cool and unique. Act 1 has the power to write anything on something, and if it's a sound, it will create that sound. And if it's an emotion or to do something, it will affect how your mind thinks. And that's only Act 1. Act 2 is even crazier. On top of still being able to do what he could in Act 1, he can now shoot sound effects out of its tail, and if it hits something, that object will be affected by the sound's meaning. So say he writes down kablam and it touches you, your ass is getting nuked by a bomb. Act 3 upgrade is kind of weird compared to the others. Pretty much just makes things like soul-crushingly heavy. That's whatever. But the cool part of Act 3 is the ability to speak. That boy becomes Koichi's homie, able to talk to him and follow any command Koichi has. And of course, there's the iconic cussing.
Okay, master. Let's kill the whole beach.
Shit just doesn't get better than this. I can go on and on about why I love Koichi so much, but I will refrain. I just love how he develops throughout the story and really becomes someone you can rely on. And look at that boy, he hitting that shit, yo! Now for our next JoBro, and this is what I'm talking about when we say part 4 is peak. One of the funniest characters in all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Okuyasu Nijimura. Introduced once again as a villain at first, Okuyasu quickly becomes close friends with Josuke, helping him take down stand users with one of the most broken stands in the series. His childish behavior and horrible decision making is what makes this character so entertaining, and you can't help but smile every time he's on screen. At first, he comes off as a violent delinquent that likes to cause trouble, which he is, but he has so much more depth by being extroverted with every emotion and having a deep care for others around him. It seriously is insane just how strong Okuyasu's stand is and could be, but here we have the classic too dumb to fully utilize their ability kind of thing going on. His stand name is The Hand, and to make it short, it erases everything it touches, even space itself. Shown off by this hilarious scene, he can erase the space between him and something else and basically teleport to that new location. Look how strong this is! But it kind of fits perfectly for this kind of character that Okuyasu is. Last in the group of part 4 is the very loved and one drippy ass man, Rohan Kishibe. This dude is honestly not that nice of a guy, extremely conceited and thinks less of those around him, and maybe it's for a good reason. Have you seen this motherfucker make manga? A professional manga artist with a series in Weekly Shonen Jump, this guy's entire stand was based around him peering into people's memories, just so he can maybe get some inspiration. Another broken part about his stand, Heaven's Door, is that he can physically remove pages and therefore erase memories from any victim. Perfect for a mangaka. Rohan is also extremely competitive, as shown by stabbing his own hand after Josuke cheats in a game against him. Huh? I've yet to read the spin-off series, Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan, so I can't say anything about how he is in that once he gets a little older. While Rohan is kind of an ass and loves himself above all else, he is still a great addition to the gang and is always fun to watch. But when talking about gangs, there's only one real gang in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Golden Wind. Part 5 Golden Wind is doing it all. It has the most JoBros out of any of the other parts and even has the first girl JoBro. Let's fucking go! And the fact that they bring back my favorite JoBros from part 3 and 4, god, this shit is so good. Those who have watched it know Giorno joins the gang through Brucerati, and we kind of meet everyone at once. So I'm gonna actually start with Trish Una herself. The first female JoBro that joins a bit later in the series, Trish gets introduced as the daughter of the Passione's boss and is set up to be protected by the Brucerati gang. At first being an annoying cunt, demanding for things and acting spoiled, she slowly develops into a great ally later on in the series. With this, she awakens her stand called Spice Girl, which makes any object she touches turn almost rubbery. Kind of an ass ability to be honest, but the one cool thing about it is that any energy built up while something is deformed will release when the object goes back to normal, doing shit like this. Now for the actual Brucerati gang. Let's start with a character that some people don't like for his decision at the pier, Panakata Fugo. Fugo is a very caring person, especially shown helping out the other gang member Naranzi. He almost acts as a big brother, even though he's a year younger, helping him with his education and wanting to see him do better. The only problem is, god damn, this motherfucker got anger issues. This man is constantly beating the fuck out of people, even stabbing Naranzi in the face with a fork because he messed up on his papers. But oh boy, is his stand raw. His stand, Purple Haze, is a drooling psychopath that Fugo has a hard time controlling. Its power is holding 3 capsules in its hand of a deadly flesh-eating virus. But once a capsule is broken, it affects the air and anyone around it, melting you to a goo in seconds. Sadly, Fugo barely ever uses this stand due to just how dangerous it can be. And now for the decision at the pier. At first, I thought, damn, this motherfucker is such a hoe, man, like going against his whole gang. But actually thinking about it realistically, most people wouldn't go directly to fight the boss of the entire mafia just to save a girl that he feels he barely knows. For Fugo dropping out of high school, he's still insanely intelligent, going to college at the age of 13. He's very cautious on every mission and just wants to take the safest route possible. Fugo, to me, seems like the most realistic decision, and the fact that not every character just hopped on to what could be potential suicide makes it feel a lot more grounded in reality, even though JoJo's is the farthest thing from realistic. Up next, we have the childlike, flame-flying Narantia Gurga. Narantia can be just as aggressive while he cusses and beats the shit out of people. He's definitely the least mature of the entire group, even though he's older than Fugo and Giorno. That's honestly why I like him so much. He's always fun to watch, and seeing how he reacts to people and events is always something I look forward to. His stand Aerosmith is just a small fighter plane he controls, shooting bullets, bombs, and it can even track people using its carbon dioxide radar. Not the most dangerous stand, it's still incredible being able to find enemies and can cause some serious damage. Narantia is just a fun, bright character that deserves so much more than what he was given. Then we have the ex-cop Leone Abacchio. I don't have much to say about Abacchio, to be honest. I enjoyed his character a lot, and he was a good contrast to the rambunctious other hooligans in the gang. He just didn't have too many standout moments for me. His backstory was sick, going from an officer that loves justice to a corrupt cop looking for a better way to be righteous. The character has gone through so much by the time that we meet him, and it feels as if we don't get much more character development. Abacchio, though not being the leader, at times feels like the dad of the group, being very serious and not really having much fun. His stand Moody Blues is sick. I love that the way the stand looks, with that fat ass clock in the middle of its forehead, and a colorway in the anime that just looks so amazing. The stand works perfect for someone like Abacchio. He can play back any past event perfectly and even have himself imitate an individual to see what they were doing. It's a great investigation tool to solve problems and catch people who are attacking the gang. His final mission is one I will always remember. Seeing the emotions from the entire gang really pulls on my heartstrings. Man, fuck this little ass kid. Top 3 JoBro alert, Guido Mista. Something about this condom-wearing gunman, I just can't help but love everything about him. Mista is very laid back, carefree, and just enjoys the simple things in life. But don't be fooled. When it comes to violence, this motherfucker is so damn brutal. Dude has no problem torturing or murdering anyone that's wrong to him, even if it's something as simple as badmouthing his favorite actor. And don't forget, the iconic torture dance scene was all started from this maniac himself, and I loved every second of it. Something else about Mista that is constant throughout the story is just how concentrated he is. He doesn't really get overwhelmed. Even when just pouring blood out of his body, he won't stop until he gets the job done. That is, unless there is any sign of the number 4 around. Mista has a severe case of something called tetraphobia, making him afraid of anything resembling the digit number 4. These times are when he is a polar opposite, becoming extremely paranoid and full of anxiety every time. Even without his stand, Mista is a pure sharpshooter on the court. This man cannot miss. But with the addition of his stand Sex Pistols, I dare say he's the best shooter in the entire series. One of my favorite stands in JoJo's, Sex Pistols is a group of 6 small tiny stands that ride alongside Mista's bullets. Of course, he skips number 4, so there's one labeled as number 7. These guys are hilarious, adorable, and like a big family, all following their master Mista. Their relationship with Mista is why I love them so much. He recognizes these guys as a big help and he cares for them, feeding them to lunch every day. And when it comes time to fight, Sex Pistols will work with each other to make sure each bullet will hit its target. Now at last, the righteous and caring mafioso himself, Bruno Bucciarati. Bruno is the heart of Part 5, really taking the spotlight during a lot of his moments, and is someone that will always stand out in the series. His introduction is one of the most bizarre ones we have, licking Giorno's face to see if he's lying, and doing this move that we never see again, kind of like Kakunin's painting. He's one of the most kind-hearted people in Part 5. He's respectful and generous to anyone that he deems worthy. Anyone on the crew respects Bucciarati and what he stands for, especially being that his thing is picking up homeless bums off the street and offering them a chance for a better future. Bruno has these nice traits, and for the most part, he's very serious and seems to always be cool-headed. And though he's the leader of this ragtag group of dumbasses that is a part of the Passione gang, he absolutely despises the gang world and what Passione is doing behind the scenes. The biggest problem he sees is the drug trade, which ended up taking Bruno's father's life while Bruno was only 12 years old. This strong desire to take down the gang from within is very apparent and made his goal and ideals something you can always see through his personality. And again, this man has such a cool stand. With the name Sticky Fingers, localized in English to the stupid but more accurate name Zipper Man, his stand can open up zippers on any surface. It kind of works like the Spot from the Spider-Verse movie. He's also able to turn your body into a bunch of pieces with zippers. I think most people can agree that Bruno Bucciarati is one of the best characters in Golden Wind and has left an impact on the world of JoJo's. But you know who else left an impact on the world of JoJo's? This motherfucker right here! The JoBros in Part 6 are probably the most unique and different from the JoBros in other parts. What I mean is that most of them aren't always by our main character's side, and some of them are sick, but personally don't give off the same feel I get as some of the previous JoBros we've had. Like Part 3, 4, and 5, they feel like a close group of friends that journey together. But in Part 6, we have characters that come and go, being a part of the group, and I don't feel like I get emotionally attached to some of them the same way I did with other characters. Let's begin with the first JoBro we meet, Aramis Costello. Voluntarily imprisoning herself in the Green Dolphin Street prison, Aramis' personality is definitely a strong point of Part 6, and she brings the series to a reality a lot of the time. Aramis is just that strong brute of a character that just wants to get shit done. From getting her boobs altered to pocket items, just forcibly saving a man that just wants to off himself, you just know she's the type of girl to drive an F-250. Her stand ability is Kiss, where she can duplicate items with stickers and return them back together by removing one. It's not the most bizarre stand, but it's seeing her use it in different ways to solve problems, especially in a prison. I'd say it's a pretty solid and entertaining stand. Though not even being close to my top 5 JoBros in the series, Aramis is for sure one of the better characters to watch in Stone Ocean, and undoubtedly among the closest characters to Jolene. Next we got Baseball Boy Emporio. Emporio was super fun to watch, and kind of solve at first as to who the fuck this little creepy ass naked boy is, walking through walls. Shy and timid at first, he really opens up his personality as the story goes on, and ultimately kinda tries to not really saves the world from repeating itself infinitely, where everyone can see the future. Emporio's backstory is short but kind of sad, being born from one of the inmates inside the prison, and then she was offed by Big Daddy Pooch, so now he's just using his stand burning down the house to interact with ghost objects. It's a weird stand, but basically, he just uses it to make a goon cave where all the boys be chilling. Also, why does this 11-year-old boy know how to fly a fucking helicopter? I'm a big fan of Emporio in Part 6, and him being the only one to truly make it to the end was tragic but great to see. Time for this freak of a character, FF, or Foo Fighters. I honestly loved FF, and I thought they were very well written and had a ton of character development throughout the story. I mean, Foo Fighters, the character, is literally the stand itself, and it's just the entire Plankton family from SpongeBob shaping into a woman's body they had previously killed. FF starts as a mindless droid, only following White Snake's orders to protect the stand discs, and after they are defeated by Jolene and spared, they begin to feel emotions and gain a whole new outlook on life. The most mysterious JoBro of them all is the drippy Weather Report himself. Of course, if you know, Weather Report, real name being Wes, is an amnesiac, meaning he's lost his memories of who he was. He decides to help Jolene while trying to uncover his cruel, grim past and kill his own twin brother, Enrico Pucci. Wes at first is a very calm character, but that's only due to his past, where he had lost 2 people that were very close to him. He started to hate himself and his brother for letting their deaths happen, and loses his memories once he finally takes his anger to Pucci. While being in this calm state, Weather Report is trustworthy and someone you can rely on. But once he regains his memories, he begins to remember the horrible things that took place and starts acting out in malicious ways. He ends up ruthlessly killing victims, but who cares? His stand is fucking sick. His stand is actually just his name, fucking Weather Report. But look again at how sick this shit is. Like a soldier made of clouds. Weather Report's abilities are controlling the weather through changing the atmosphere and can also just do the craziest things with air, like detecting any disturbances or even creating air-resistant layers that can block or even set people on fire if punched hard enough. Such a cool character that was added to Part 6 with a compelling backstory, and look at that clean ass hat. Okay. And then finally, the last JoBro of all the animated parts, Narciso Inasui. Yo, I like Inasui. He's pretty cool. And sometimes it's funny, but god damn, does his glazing for Jolene kind of get annoying. Dude is just the Sanji of the JoJo world. He will literally do anything, even die, just for her sake. One thing I do respect is that he tries to win Jotaro over and get his permission. Which I mean, if my girlfriend's dad was Jotaro, I would too. Look at this mountain of a man. The reason why Inasui is even in Green Dolphin prison is because he caught his ex-girlfriend with another man, so he does what every logical person would do and cuts them into dino nuggets. Is that a bit extreme? Yes. Do I kind of understand it? A little bit. As bizarre as the character as he is, at the end of the day, he makes a ton of sacrificial plans that put him in very dangerous situations, and for that reason, I'll always respect him. As a boy, Inasui had a weird-ass condition that would make him have the urge to just take everything apart, which leads us to his stand, Diver Down. We got this suited-up diver with the big DD on him, which I actually really like this design. His power is a little bit more than just diving into things. The first ability we see him use is to be able to store impacts into anything, so a random punch or kick can just come out of the walls at any time he wants. And the second and more prominent ability he uses is the ability to restructure anything from inside. Diver Down can go inside an object or person and completely change their insides, changing how their structure is put together. Overall, really cool character that I enjoy watching, other than his blind love for Jolene. And there you have it. Every character that I would list as a JoBro in each of the animated parts. I truly believe that they are a big reason as to why JoJo is so popular today. Just their personalities and designs add so much to the world and uniqueness the story has. Where else are you going to get grown dudes fucking each other, gang members dancing on dying bodies, and little kids cussing at nurses, with so much more? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure will always be one of my favorite series ever created, and the big reason is because of the JoBros, the true charm of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.